iReader was the first company to make color e-ink in the world for Phase 2 color. This is not the first phase color that started with the Fujitsu Flepia in 2009 and ending in 2013. The C6 came out in 2019, kicking off what was soon to be the most popular subsector of e-paper devices, color. iReader has now released their second color device, aptly named the Color 7. Taking the shell from the Ocean line of devices that still exist alongside this. However, this isn't a history lesson, and for that, you have to click the video card up above, so let's dive into the review. First off, let's weigh a Kindle Basic as a benchmark test, 155 grams. Let's bring in the iReader 7 Color, or the Ocean 3 Color, effectively 187 grams, and what I'm interested to see is how heavy or how much lighter is that than this. And it is different. This is 184 grams for the normal version, and this is 187 grams. So there are 3 grams heavier of overall weight in the color variant than there is in the black and white. The overall build is the exact same as the Ocean 3, but if you've never seen the Ocean 3, let's go through it and tell you what it's all about. This basically takes the throne away from the Oasis, because the Oasis hasn't moved effectively since 2017 with the Oasis 2, the 3 sharing the same body in 19. So you have a set of microphones up top with a USB-C and a power button. You have physical page turn buttons that can also be key mapped to do various things, and on the bottom you have audio, so that's already leaps and bounds above Amazon. You have a nice kind of matte black backing, and although we alcohol our fingertips and hands prior to each shoot, it does leave a little bit of fingerprints, as you can see right there. Of course it is very thin if you go like that, but if you move it into frame, well, you get this big chunk here, and that's where all the PCB and the battery lies. And no, it's not flexible like the Wexler, so we're not going to do a bend test or anything like that, but this is 300 ppi, and it is Kaleido 3. Now let's get into the overall UI and continue on from there. The iReader UI is very blanket. It's going to be the same as the Lite, it's going to be the same as the Smart, it's going to be the same as the Ocean, you name it. It's the same thing, and that's good because they don't make it to a point where you have to have a learning curve. Although there is one huge flaw with this, and we'll get to that in just a sec. So if you swipe the top down, you get all of your kits and caboodles. So you get the global refresh, you get Wi-Fi, power saving, smart assistant, which I didn't realize what it kind of abbreviates itself to or limits itself to based on the amount of characters. We're going to have to contact them and fix that. But you get a bunch of glow light settings as well. And yes, we have the glow light on. That's not to hide anything, but what happens with color is that when you have the glow light completely off, it doesn't look very good. And if we bring the other device into frame just for a second, you'll see the difference on the whites, or aka the absence of color, versus color. You will see right there, it is significantly different, and that is why we turn the glow lights on color devices, be it Pocketbook, be it Onyx, be it anything, to balance things out and really take advantage of the color screen. Now it looks great. Yes, this is color, and yes, you do have some ways to change color. You go into settings, and right here under display, you get color mode. Now this is one thing we have a little bit of a gripe with, and we had a meeting with them. Colorful is vivid mode. Morandi is not vivid mode. We asked them why they chose Morandi. They didn't comment or even reply to what we asked, and this was a live conversation. So we moved past it after several minutes of asking and 3 different inquiries. Morandi, as we Googled it, is an Italian painter, and we can't really see a massive difference between the 2 modes, and every time you go in between the 2 modes, you have to reset the whole unit. So we're going to show you a side-by-side when we get into color content. That was very strange. The second strange thing, which we are a huge non-fan of, are the speed modes, which we will also show you when we change pages later on. If you go to About, which is also kind of hard to get into, and you click the ever-loving snuff it out of System, you get these 3 options. If you go into Developer Options, click the 3rd option down, you now get speed modes: Normal, Quick, and Extreme. This one says it's good for video playback, but there's no browser, file folder, or even capability of viewing videos on here. So we don't know what these are for, but they've existed alongside iReader devices for quite some time. I don't know why it's there. We'll show you the differences between speed modes later on, but for now, let's get into some color content. But before we do, let's look at e-reading because, well, we kind of need to show you that it is an e-reader. Now, it is a very gray experience, and that is the inherent problem with color e-paper. It's not that bad, and it has gotten significantly better over time, but really it's unfortunate because you can't install your own APKs, which means you can't change your reading experience, which means you're stuck with this. Notes, underline, copy, search, encyclopedia, and share. It's very nice that all of it's in English, unlike things like iFlyTech or Hanvon, but what that means is, although you can underline something, you can't highlight anything, taking advantage of color on black and white content. So all you can do is just do a little bit of an underline. Now, that being said, it is a very high quality reading experience, and there's really no problems whatsoever, and it's all very quick. So there's not really too many gripes there outside of that, and of course, because it's copying the Oasis body and name almost, because this is ocean and oases have bodies of water, small bodies of water typically, so you do get that one-handed experience. So I can just go like this and just fly through the book. In an e-reading perspective, it's very nice, and you can turn off that frequent refresh as well if you don't want to see it flashing. This is very high quality, it looks great, it pinch and zooms pretty fast, and it renders almost immediately, so that's all very appreciative. Now, there's really no negatives towards it, other than the fact that I would maybe like some control. I would like to have vivid control, color depth. I would like to have the boldness of everything. I can't really change any of that because it doesn't allow me to. I don't have any system-wide settings, and again, I can't sideload in my own EPKs to put on Moon Plus Reader, Aldeco, or even PDF, even Adobe Acrobat if I wanted to read some PDF comics. I can't do that. It doesn't have that ability. But that being said, it's the correct size because it's 7 inches. It looks fantastic because it's Kaleido 3. The glass screen has, well, it is a glass screen, but it has minimal glare compared to a lot of devices. So honestly, it's pretty much a win across the board for just basic leave it as it is manga reading. If things ever get too stainy, what you would do is swipe the top down and click global refresh. Man, this thing looks so good. And you know what? I actually can't think of another 7-inch color device. The Goyue K3 is 7.8 along with the S6 Color and the Tab Mini C. This might be the first 7-inch color device aside from, the Viva, which is not even Kaleido, that's Gallery, and the Galley is 8 inches. So no, that's not even a 7. This is the first 7-colored inch device. So that's kind of nice. I mean, it's using a new panel. Unless there's secretly some panel inside the device's body bezel, which I don't think is actually going down. So that's kind of nice to say that this is the first on the scene. Now, the colors are very good, but you know what I've noticed is that this thing, if you have the refresh frequency at low, which I've set it to, you see that it doesn't fully refresh as much as I'd like it to. So what we're going to do now is hit a global refresh and give you guys some side-by-sides without any vivid control because we don't have that, but we're going to do Morandi on the right and, of course, colorful mode on the left. iReader has always been pretty good at having audio on all of their devices, but you know what? Things like the Lite 2, for example, sounded really crisp and clear. This one seems really loud, but it's not that clear. It's very crackly and it seems to peak if you have it at full volume, which we did have it. But if you put it down, it sounds a little bit better, but testing the overall capacity of it, it's not the highest quality speaker we've heard from the company, like on their Smart line, but it's probably the loudest of their entire line so far. Finally, the last thing I want to show you guys is Intelligent Button. I love when manufacturers allow you to key map the buttons. It's such a smart thing to do because it leaves it up to you to do what you want with it. For example, button 1, I can choose normal click to be previous page, and then button 2 will be next page, or I can reverse that. Or I can do anything I want. I can make the top button global refresh, and I can make the long click light on, light off. So now, my button 1, and I press and hold it, I have light on, light off with that, and I can click it anytime I want to do a refresh. Now this does impede on your ability to turn pages in a book, because this is going to take precedence over anything else. So if I were to go to the book, I can no longer change pages using the button, because there is no app specific mapping like a MeBook M7, for example, that allows me to do that. I now am bound by my key map system wide, which is both positive and negative. It's positive because you don't need to learn as much and remember that each app has its own separate key map, and there's 4 functions each, and there's limitless amount of things, so that can get really complicated really fast. But I almost would like it to have been just ebook page turns left and right, up and down, next and back, whatever, stuck on here that took priority, but unfortunately it's the other way around. I gotta say, with extreme mode, this thing is blazingly quick. This is one of the quickest non-allow me to install my own apps devices we've seen. This is so fast. I can't believe how fast this thing is moving around. Look how quickly I can nav between things. It is so quick and just instantaneous with a modest amount of global refresh involved. I would have liked to see those speed modes front and center, right up here, instead of being absolutely buried. Look at this off and on that I'm able to do there. That is lightning quick. A complete shame they hid those in developer options, even post-update. Multiple speed modes, Kaleido 3 Color, and a simplistic color e-reading experience with no APK installations allowed means you have a distraction-free environment. However, each one of those things comes at a caveat. Because the speed modes are hidden deep within the developer options, although it has Kaleido 3, there's no way to change the experience. And yes, you can't install APKs, but you can't install APKs. When it all comes down to it, this is a great e-reader, but it's trying to be so many more things with multimedia and having the ability to utilize apps without allowing you to consume multimedia, as there's no video playback or browser, and you're not allowed to install side-loaded apps. Overall, it's a branch off of the Ocean line that they still have available as we speak, but offering everything you would expect out of a color e-reader along the way.